All right, I repaired my weapons from Seal Shanticore and sold some items to clear inventory. So I'm just going to open up just to show you a few things. The first thing is you'll get, this is from the end of the quest. Once you're out of the quest, you could delete that. I don't think you need to save it till this end reward. But let's grab our end reward first, and it'll give you a bunch of not so exciting bound to account items. We could potentially think about now, instead of using a quarterstaff, using a maul for our bludgeoning weapon. But I think I still want to keep the staff because we get some benefits from our paladin religion to use a staff. All right, well this is a staff, but really all it does is give a summon monster. Nothing too exciting. Crit damage and damage is as of normal. There is a named item that comes from here that's called a dagger. That's actually a great sword. I'll take a look at that. I don't think it's probably too great. Um, Intelligence +2 is not a horrible hat for level 1. The named items in here are pretty old. Let's see that. Take a look at the stone dust leather, axe block, minimum level 2. You know, this could be useful to if we use a axe block and spear block level 2. The spear block bracer, for level 2, not absolutely critical. This one gives 1 damage to all damage, which is kind of interesting. But 1 is not very much. A con 2 plus necklace at level 1. Blindness immunity ring, that's could be useful. Trap blast, +4 reflex save. I don't think we'll use our goggle for that. Flicker, it's bound to account. Could be very, very useful when we get to if we run Artificer Lies, but it's only 1d4 damage, and there's a level 5 Rune Arm from Three Barrel Cove. I think we'll eventually get. So probably pass on that. I'm gonna say that this actually stone dust leather is something we might want to consider keeping for next life to have armor, to have both axe blocks and spear block at level 2. A little questionable there. Some of the other things that I just saved, if, this acid absorb acid resistant we purchased from the auction house on the level 4 cleanup, or at some point. Um, the feather falling 1 drop for us. It's a level 1 item. Someone's going to want this, so we're going to sell that in the auction house in our wrap up phase. We have this as a drop jeweler's toolkit that'll allow us to. We've been deleting our named items, but if we get a named item with an good augment in it, we could pull that augment out. And we don't really have any other use for this. Of course, we could just save this for higher levels as well. And open lock +7. We'll keep this for now. It's a little bit on the bubble because inventory space issues. And then we're going to try to sell this armor piercing keen item. All right, so inventory is pretty full. We only have 2 packs of the 4 available. And now I'm going to repeat the quest, and I'm going to not run it, but I'm going to run Sacred Helm, normal and hard. I repaired that quarterstaff. It did take a permanent damage. This happens for mooses. If I look at it now, I'm at durability of 89. It's the first time it's taken some permanent damage. All right, we're just going to run both normal and hard at the same time for this quest. I'm going to actually remember my higher this time. It's getting into a bad habit because the content's a little bit too easy on normal for us, but you should always bring this higher along. This is probably I'll say the second toughest level 3 quest. It's not going to be too hard on normal, but it's a little tougher than some of the others. I'm going to just snipe a few of these guys from range. Again, our range isn't great, but sometimes it's just kind of, even if it's a little bit slower, it's good to snipe some of these guys from range so they don't keep shooting arrows at us. And it seems to me like bows are a lot better than arrows if you're not proficient. Now you can see the traps here. This one, you could actually just run right through it. You don't even have to worry about disabling it. All right, here's some couple of Hobgoblin Witch Doctors. We faced some of them already. They can be tough, and you can see they've already given me enfeeblement, so that lowers my strength. Let's see, it gives me probably strength. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this lesser restoration potion that gets rid of it. That's why we bought these. At the end of this level, we're running easier content now, so I'm not going to worry about it. But at the end of this level, I'm going to definitely run through a potion refill and maybe a little bit of inventory management. We're going to have to get rid of some of our older items and make room for some new items. There's a lot of this guy's not so sneaky, but there are a lot of sneaky hobgoblins that kind of come up behind you. So it's good not to zerg. Like sometimes you might find them in alcoves. I don't think they're here on normal, but sometimes they'll come out of the alcoves from behind you. So it's good not to run too far ahead too fast. Once we pull both of those levers, we can just kind of jump down here. On Reaper, see, there's a hobgoblin. So I did what I said don't do, which is just run ahead. So you want to take it kind of slow. This guy hits hard on Reaper, and this is where some CC could be helpful, like tripping, etc. We haven't really devoted much into it, but we'll take a look at that soon. I'm debating whether to. All right, so we've got these guys. All right, this is a tricky area here. There's some Hobgoblin guards you can see. I'm going to renew my clickies since I just saw one of them run out. And again, we don't have a, there's an infiltrator. We'll let him come to us. I'm going to go into sneak mode here. Again, my sneak is not great, but I should be getting bonuses being at a distance. So I'm just going to search this and disable this trap. It's good to do these before you engage the enemies ahead. Uh, Not only do you engage these enemies, but there's also some wolves, and the wolves have knockdown, which I found historically to be very tough compared to some other abilities. All right, so now the kind of deadly trap. I mean, the combination of the deadly trap plus these guys shooting you, plus some wolves potentially coming, and reapers, throwing reapers to the mix. It's a tough combo. So I'm just going to now get out of sneak mode, kind of get their attention, and you can see the wolves. Let's get our divine might. Wasted my cleave there, but and let's see if anybody's nope, nobody's. I thought one of those wolves went back to hassle the cleric. All right, there's a Minotaur behind here that's an optional. I don't. You kind of have to want to get him anyways, otherwise they'll just come and engage you probably at the when you come down. All right, then you go up a very, very long ladder. And the casters here will hold you, and they can be pretty tough on high difficulties. So I usually like to fight here, and then if I get into trouble, I just jump down to that little spot there. Um, so even though it's normal, I'll just show you. I'll just kind of get their attention, come back here, bring back Mullen, and then I can kind of get that guy without the caster getting me. And once I've kind of thinned the herd, I mean, I can get this marksman with a bow if no one else is going to come out and attack me. And once I've thinned the herd, then now I can kind of go and take care of these casters. So the casters aren't so bad by themselves. It's when they have the melee, when they're holding you and the melee are attacking you, that it gets to be kind of tough. Or, commanding you or whatever. So not needed on normal, not even needed on hard, but that's usually how I do it on Reaper. And I'll show you that when I get to Reaper. Grab these treasure bags. And you want to make sure you have Featherfall here, because this is a long way down. I'm thinking it's probably at this level we have enough hit points that it won't kill us, but why take the falling damage? There's a shrine here if you need to use it. I don't need to use it right now, neither does Molin, so we're just going to skip it. Get my expedition retreat and shield clicky renewed. You can draw them back to that little hallway. I a lot of times will do that in Reaper. If I see a Reaper, I'll definitely do that. Sort of this is how you kind of draw back just a couple at a time. Make it a little bit easier on yourself. And now you have the combination of a trap and some enemies. So one option would be whip out the bow and get them from here. All right, now this trap cannot be disabled, so you just have to kind of like jump over it. If we miss it, it's not a big deal. That's one of the nice things. It's kind of a little bit forgiving, is we do have a evasion. So even if we fail in jumping, we might still not take damage. And then furthermore, if I'm gonna run over here. Furthermore, if you don't have evasion, if you're playing pure paladin, as I know some people prefer, then you can, let's see, is that news? That's a news. So I'm just going to try to shoot them from here. If you prefer pure paladin, any sort of a haste boost in combination with a jump, a jump 10 spell will help you with that. I'm just going to try to get this stuff from up here. I think there's like some sort of a, okay, yeah, violet slime. You'll want to use, if you kill it with a piercing or slashing weapon, it splits, can split. So you want to usually kill it with a bludgeoning weapon. All right, let's see this end fight. We could, we could try to draw some back, make the fight a little bit easier. All right, when all the enemies are cleared, this chest will show up. If you've cleared all the enemies and you don't see the chest, just run to the hall and see if one's stuck out there somewhere. And when you loot this chest, the quest completes. We're going to go right back out and then go back in on normal. I'm sorry, we're going to go right back in on hard, I mean. Let's take a look at these items. We're proficient in Falciones, but it's not a favored weapon and it's less damage, so we definitely would like to get a great. We'd love to see a great sword with some of these abilities on it, but unfortunately, it's been very elusive for us so far. Don't see anything of real interest there, so I'm just going to grab these bracers. Again, we're at our guild is at 200, so otherwise I'd be taking. If I don't see an item I like, I'd be taking guild renown. Forgot my clickies. And of course, whenever you use your shield clicky, make sure you, or the expeditious retreat, if you have another item, make sure you switch back to it. Takes a little longer on hard, and will take even a little bit longer on elite to take these guys down with a bow. But it's just, This guy we don't need to take down with a bow, but the high up guys you definitely don't want to be sniping you. So, and we'd have to clear them eventually. So I like to get them with my bow. I'm only going with the bow since there's a trap here. And if he wants to come over, we can switch back to our two-handed fighting, which we're better at. Now, once they're cleared, then you can do a search, and you can see there's like you can go between these. Again, with the Ray of Enfeeblement, and just take a Lesser Restoration Potion. You can see one of these guys that are sort of hidden in the alcoves. Just take it a little bit slow here and just make sure that we don't have stuff coming from behind us as we move ahead. Should have cleared that Hobgoblin before I forged ahead there, but that's all right. I was able to trip the one guy, so that's encouraging. I might try that on Reaper, since I know it works at least works on hard. All right. It looks like I need to renew my shield and expeditious retreat. I'll try again, sneaking up and disabling traps. These traps are do quite a bit of damage. They definitely can one-shot somebody. Ideally, you want to time that cleave when you get the maximum impact. But with wolves, you have to worry about getting tripped, so you want to make sure you don't get tripped too. So it's a tough timing for sure. Sometimes you have to jump with range to actually hit the target. That is not a bad quarterstaff. I'm going to lock that. That's the best quarterstaff we've seen. Unfortunately, though, we're going to lock it and sell in the auction house. Unfortunately, though, since I'm a lawful good, I would suffer a negative level, so I can't use the weapon, but might be good for like a rogue build or something out there. So I'm going to put it on the auction house, see if it sells. Otherwise, I'll just sell it to a vendor. All right, making sure we got our feather fall on. And Mullen could definitely use a heal. And there's a shrine ahead, and I could use it to restore my spell points from my Divine Might. Let me refresh. But I'm going to just, I think I have enough. So I'm going to, there's one more shrine if we need it, but I'm just going to kind of forge ahead without it. At this level, Divine Might isn't that great of isn't giving me that much, so I haven't used it a tremendous amount. I mean, every little bit helps, but at this point, I'd rather not shrine than just use it nonstop. In Reaper, it's a little bit easier because we'll get those soul gems that'll help me recharge it. So it's almost like I'm more likely to use it more on Reaper just for that reason. All right, I'm going to try. This is what I would do on Reaper. Let me just show you. I'm just going to kind of like come out, activate this first set of mobs, and then sort of duck behind here. See if I get anybody. See if I get a few coming. You can see I have a few coming here. All right, I want to get that cleric and one more coming. I want to get that cleric, so I'm just going to get him from ranged. And now I've thinned it enough, I think I can just get these last guys directly. And again, I didn't need to do that on hard, but these are, you know, we want to get in the habit of doing things the same way on all the difficulties so that when you get, you know, otherwise if you don't, you're likely to get sloppy when you get to Reaper and make a mistake. Not a hard and fast rule, but one I generally try. All right, that is a marksman, so let me just use my ranged. The reason I'm doing this is because there's a trap. Nope, here comes an infiltrator. A couple infiltrators, get my sword out. These guys are trying to basically draw you into a trap. And the trap's not that bad. Actually, I think am I already taking the damage? I don't think I take it until I go on the bridge. Oh, Mullen's going to activate it. And you can see I can search all I want here. I'm not going to find any trap boxes. I'll see just the traps. So I'm just going to jump over, pull the levers. This is needed to open the door. There should be some oozes and a guard down here, but I'm thinking maybe Mullen just uses Searing Light to take care of them. Just pull a few guys back here and not too terrible, but we have Deadly 3, so I might actually stick that up in the auction house. Let me lock that for auction house sale, although I think we have too many items to sell in the auction house. So I think I'm going to end this video and this quest. I'm going to put for sale one of these items on the auction house, see if we can get it to sell, since we can only sell one at a time. That's actually not a bad quarterstaff, biting 2. It's the best, I think it's the best quarterstaff we've seen so far. So I'm going to grab this quarterstaff. I'd really like to be seeing more greatswords at this point. I'll repeat the quest again for when we get to Reaper, and I'll recall out and end this video. Next up will be Catacombs on normal.